How's it going, guys? Good evening. My name is Ben. With my buddy Hugh, we are the ESA, the Illicit Sports Authority, back from our long off season to talk NFL off season. Hugh, it's been a long time, man. How's it going?
Man, it's going good. Yeah, it's been a long time, but ready to go again and ready to get this taken care of. Tell the
Uh,
people about this whole off season and
lot to unpack. Lot to unpack this off season. I am super excited. Um, Before we start, I do want to give a quick shout out. This show will be sponsored by Keen Nutrition. Hugh, you want to tell people about that?
yeah, the key nutrition. You can has loss on weight stuff, bodybuilding stuff, just even just daily nutritional stuff. Check out the website, Key Nutrition, and also too go to the Facebook page with Key Nutrition, and it's some great products.
Well, we're super excited to check those out. I certainly will be checking that out. Uh, we're going to get right into first and 10 off season edition. It's been a long time. Super excited to be doing one of these with you again, bud. You want to go ahead and start with your first and 10?
Yeah, man. It's a lot to talk about.
Absolutely.
It's been a crazy off season. The addition. The first thing I want to talk about is the addition of Mac Jones to the Patriots. And what does that mean? To me, that means this Cam Newton's final season as a starter to some capacity. He could probably be a backup somewhere else or be a backup there. Um, I see Mac Jones becoming a veteran in the league and becoming a very good quarterback. Then you have Julio Jones to the Titans. That's my number two. Everybody's all hyped up about Julio and Brown over there, and I don't really see it being a great fit with the quarterback, with Tannehill, but we have to see what happens there. I think it's going to be an interesting, scenario to see because on paper it looks good, but we have to see what happens in person. But then we got number three is probably my favorite thing. It's the full stadiums that we're going to have. If everything keeps going right, full
Maybe.
stadiums is going to be electric atmosphere this year. I think it will be the loudest and probably the most cheering crowd, regardless who your team is. If you're even the Jaguars or whoever you are, I think it's going to be a really good, entertaining season. Then number four goes to the Jaguars is Lawrence. Lawrence to me, I think he's a really good quarterback. I think he has some good tangibles. I think he's good passer. He has a good IQ. But my thing is this: I don't think he can carry this franchise on his back.
Okay.
That is a huge thing to do with a franchise that needs a lot of help. Now, his teammate was Travis Etienne. He is over there now. He's a running back. He's very versatile. I think personally, he may have a bigger impact on this season than Trevor Lawrence. So we will
Okay.
have to see what happens. We will have to see what happens there because I think that you know just see what Urban Meyer can do as a coach. That's me.
Coaching will be the key, I believe.
Yes, I think so. And they're definitely not going to be tanking.
No.
Six is something that just recently happened within the past week, and it's the Giants with the brawl they had. Some people may say, well, that's just a brawl and everything. But when you have the whole sideline, the whole team doing this, I see a major issue. I do not
Could be.
see I do not see Barkley coming back, overcoming these kind of issues, helping. I don't see, some of these other additions they got, because they got some good additions. And talking about with Barkley come back, but the thing is if everybody's not gonna get along, it's not going to be worth it. And then you still have a quarterback that's not proven himself.
This will be the year. This will be the year for him to do it for sure.
It's time to put up or shut up. And that goes to the same thing with a Cam Newton. Even Cam Newton being a veteran, it's not the same situation, but then it is in a certain sense. So I see this becoming more of an issue, and I don't see the Giants doing anything to. They're going to win a few games, but they're not going to win. They're not going to win the division by any means.
Okay. That's interesting.
Then this will be talked about probably later on, is the Aaron Rodgers situation. And to me, I think this was a greatest thing since the Super Bowl over 10 years ago that they won.
For the organization? Is that what you're
saying? I think in the past 10 years, this is the best thing that's ever happened, is Aaron Rodgers standing up there and actually speaking his mind, because that is what's on every single true Packers fan's mind. And if they don't turn it around here, then I don't know when they'll turn it around.
Aaron villainized himself to a lot of Packers fans as well, though. Let's not forget that.
Well, he did, but you got to look at the sense of the placement and time when he says certain things. Because he didn't say a single thing in the offseason.
Yes.
Except when he played in the golf thing, that was all great and hunky-dory, but that's not football. And so keeping his mouth quiet hurts some fans. But then again, if you don't hear it from the horse's mouth, then there's nothing. Then there's another one. Number 8 is Dak Prescott becoming healthy. Is he going to be truly healthy? Is he going to be able to be the Dak that was in the beginning of the season for his injury? If he is, they win the division. Now, thing is, though, he's not going to be able to do it by himself. Zeke's going to actually have to step up and be like he was a few years ago, the dominant running back that he was.
By all accounts, he's looking trim and fast and fit. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Looks like he's poised to have a great season. That's all I'm hearing from Cowboys camp. So they say a lot of good things about their players. So we'll see. But
somehow or another, they mess it up at the end.
Every year,
they are
consistent.
Yeah, and now what they could have been last year with Dak, healthy all year long like that, who will never know. But if he can be that way, I don't see any reason why they cannot win the division. But we will have to see. And 9, I really like the Cardinals. What they've done all season, they got Watt. That will help that defense out. They also have, if you look at their offense now, you got Murray. Now you have Connor. Now you have AJ Green, Hopkins.
Mm-hmm.
Fitzgerald may be coming back. That's not a definite. I don't see a major weakness in that team. Now, when they go out to play the first week, what will happen? We don't know.
I gotta push back a little bit on that one, man.
Oh boy.
This is like, a Rolling Stones reunion tour, okay? JJ Watt, AJ Green, James Conner. These are players that were once good.
Well,
JJ Watt might have a little bit left. James Conner, I think he's done. He had his couple years in Pittsburgh, didn't pan out for him. AJ Green, I believe, is definitely done. Larry Fitz is a decoy on the outside.
Oh yes, I agree with the whole Larry Fitz, and
And
no, I would not think of that.
here's the biggest part of this about the Cardinals. They're playing in the toughest division of football, and they're the fourth best team in that division. So I'm not as thrilled with their offseason as you seem to be. I think they're finishing fourth easily.
Well, you also said Wentz was going to be very good last year with the Eagles, so we'll see. We'll just see about that.
You have to come back to the cheap shot already. We're not even out of this first segment.
Hey, you are taking a cheap shot at these Cardinals.
I'm calling it like I see it. You brought back old things, man. I'm talking about new stuff.
Well, I would tell you, I think they're going to shock. I think they're going to shock the world.
Kyler Murray is certainly capable, so we'll see.
Well,
DeAndre Hopkins is amazing, so we will see for sure. Kenyon Drake is a good player, so it's possible. I don't love their defense, and I certainly don't love the acquisitions as much as you seem to, but it is possible. You're right.
Well, that's one of those things where we'll just have to see. We'll have to agree to disagree. Now, number 10, it's not really transpired, but it's possibly going to transpire. And who knows? It's been in talks, and it's just come up again. They're still quietly, this team is looking into Watson, and it's the Panthers. Yeah, they just got Sam Darnold. I don't think he's going to be the answer, Sam Darnold is, for the Panthers. But I think if you could bring someone in like Watson into that organization, I think realistically, for a football team, I mean, it's going to elevate it. And then you have McCaffrey. And, of course, everybody knows what McCaffrey is capable of, especially healthy.
But he's coming off a year he wasn't healthy. He's a running back.
Exactly. And the way his workload is, he's not going to be around many, many years. So we will have to figure that out. But I'll let you go ahead and hit your first and 10, and so I can get you back on it.
Okay, sounds good, man. Let's start with the New England Patriots at number 1. 20-year dynasty. Public breakup. Tom Brady, Bill Belichick. The divorce we all knew was coming. And for that first year, it definitely looked like Tom Brady won that divorce easily. Mm-hmm. Not so fast. Let's hold the brakes on that for a second. Bill Belichick is the best coach of all time. It's really not even close. Cam has had a year to learn that offense. They've made many acquisitions and gotten many players back that opted out. And I'll kind of go into that. I'll go into them a little more later. But watch out for the New England Patriots and watch out Buffalo Bills. They could sneak up and beat them in that division. Just watch out for that. Number 2, generally we think of returning players as helpful for teams. Normally, when we think of guys that were stars that got injured, when they come back, we expect them to make the team better. But I have 3 players that I think will not make the team better. In fact, I think they will hinder the momentum these teams have built over last season. Number 1, Tariq Cohen. He was a major part of that offense for the first quarter of the season for the Bears. And I believe they were 3-1 or 4-0. I'm off the top of my head, I'm not positive, but they were doing well. Tariq Cohen, I believe, has a knee injury, goes out. And then David Montgomery found his path, and he took the reins of that starting job. He was kind of a bell cow workhorse at the end of the season. The Bears weren't winning an awful lot, but David Montgomery was putting up quality fantasy numbers, and he was protecting the ball. He definitely garnered that number 1 running back position, I'd say. Be careful if you're the Bears to bring back Tariq Cohen and to play him too much and take the momentum away from David Montgomery. I think they should stick with Montgomery. He got a taste of the bell cow workhorse role, and they should keep with that. Play Tariq Cohen still. He's obviously still a good player for you. Just don't bring him back and try to give him too much of a workload. I think it could definitely stunt Montgomery's growth. Number 2 is Odell Beckham. When he went out, it seemed like Baker Mayfield started playing well. It's weird how that happens, and it's not the first time it's happened with Odell. Be careful. Be careful bringing him back and calling him a star and telling Baker to throw to him 10 times a game. Be careful with that, because Baker was throwing it to Njoku and Jarvis Landry and Kareem Hunt out of the backfield. And he was much more efficient without Odell. So I urge the Browns to be careful. Yes, he's an international superstar. Maybe not the best team football player, though.
Yeah, I agree.
Number 3, Saquon Barkley. Now, the Giants absolutely do not have a running back that is as talented as Saquon. But I will say that when he comes back, they're going to be giving him the ball so often. Daniel Jones needs his reps throwing. He needs to run that offense. We need to see what he's going to provide. This is kind of Daniel Jones's make or break year. If you bring Saquon back with that knee, you give him the ball 30 times a game, and something, either he gets injured one, or he just does not have good production too, because he was not producing well before he got injured last year. I believe he was in the two and change yards per carry. Be careful. You're the Giants. Definitely going to give him the ball. He's your star player on offense, but just be careful. Find a balance. Don't let his star hinder the whole team, I would say.
Go
ahead.
He's going to have to. He's going to have to run that ball. They're going to have to do that to keep, Daniel Jones is going to throw interceptions. Everybody knows that. But the thing is, though, he's going to have to run the ball 20, 25 times at least.
I'm not saying don't give him the ball. He's obviously their star player, but just find a balance. He did not have a great yards per carry last year before he got injured. I don't expect a great one this year after coming off a major injury. So just be careful. Number 3, this isn't the best team, or the best team the Jags have ever had, but it's definitely the most interesting team they've ever had. Tim Tebow playing tight end. I'm not a huge Tebow fan. He's in shape. He's drawing attention, selling merch. I mean, he adds value to a team. Maybe not the best guy to bring in when you have a rookie quarterback, but we all know by this point Tebow can't play quarterback. So as long as you keep him at tight end or just cut him, it'll be fine. Along with that, obviously Urban Meyer, Trevor Lawrence, ETN. The Jags have a ton of young guys that are hungry. Again, I don't think it's going to be a great team, but it will be an interesting team. It will be a watchable team. They'll have more fans in their stands than they've had, like you alluded to, not just because the fans will be back, hopefully, but also because this is an interesting team, especially if Tebow makes that roster. There'll be fans out there rooting just for Tebow. He may not see a snap in the game, and they'll be there for him. Lawrence obviously is going to draw eyeballs. Two good running backs. The defense still needs a lot of improvement, but this will be an interesting team. I can't wait to watch the Jags this year. Number 4, the season is 17 games now. And if we thought there was a lot of injuries last year, I think there's going to be more this year. Not only that, we're going to start to see, and I'll allude to this a little bit later as well, but we're going to start to see an NBA phrase come into the NFL. I believe we're going to start seeing load management in the NFL. With an extra game, you're going to have veteran O linemen, maybe a veteran linebacker, guys in their mid 30s. They're going to take an extra week off. How is that going to affect teams? I think coaching this year and moving forward is more important than ever because we're going to see more injuries. We're going to see more strategy as far as players just not playing due to rest. Coaching is going to be big, as it always is, but it may even be bigger this year. Mm-hmm. Number 5, in the NFL, size matters. Russell Wilson, 5'11", but he's thick, right? He's muscular. He's a wide base. He can take a hit. You know who I don't think can take a hit is Zach Wilson. And I know the Jets, I know for, a fact the Jets have not, if Zach Wilson's throwing a pass, no one's even running at him. I guarantee that. They're not going to risk injuring him. But when he gets on that field, when it's week 1, he better watch out. He's a dynamic player, very talented, but this is the NFL. I fear we're going to see another Johnny Manziel situation. Maybe not off the field, but definitely on the field with the level of play differential between BYU and the NFL. So that's what I fear. Zach Wilson, I think, was the worst of the quarterback picks where he was picked. Not only was he picked a little too high, but he was taken to the Jets, which is, a tire fire of an organization. We'll see with their new coach Saleh if he can garner any respect to that organization. But right now, he has to earn all of my respect. Right now, to me, they're the bottom feeders of the NFL. Zach Wilson, watch out. Number 6. There was no preseason last year. There is a preseason this year. Which one is going to induce more injuries? Because last year we saw a bunch of them. I don't know if it was because there was no preseason, but we always see injuries in the preseason as well. So a big argument for players to get rid of the preseason was to eliminate unnecessary injuries, when in fact, I could make the argument that it added injuries during the regular season because they didn't get any snaps before week 1. So we'll see how it works out. I always hope for every team to be healthy. You don't want to see backups playing. You want to see the best out there. You don't want to see people getting injured. You want to see people playing football, having good livelihoods, not suffering any catastrophic injuries. And that's what we all hope for, I think. 3-game preseason, we'll see if it helps or hurts them. Number 7, no matter where you stand on this issue, I think vaccination rates are going to be a major factor for teams this year. No matter what you think about it, no matter what you think about anything going on politically, the teams with the higher vaccination rates will have a distinct advantage. They won't be forced to take a forfeit if they have some sort of a outbreak. On top of that, the NFL, they're just going to be in better standing with the NFL. The NFL has tried to push this as hard as they possibly can. The Players Association seems to be on board with the NFL themselves. And again, whether you agree or disagree with it, it's something to watch this year and going forward past this year, I think. Number 8, always out of the 4 conference finalists, there's always one team that regresses majorly, gets a lot worse. Last year, San Francisco was that team. Now they had a lot of injuries. This year, who's going to be the team? Is it going to be the Chiefs, the Bucks, the Packers? I don't think any of those teams. I think the Titans will regress majorly this year. I'm expecting 9, maybe even 8 wins for the Titans. Good thing they're in a bad division, and good thing Wentz just got hurt. That's their only 2 hopes for winning that division. But if Wentz comes back, week 3 or 4, I don't see any reason why the Colts can't run away with it. The Titans won't be in the mix when you consider the Chargers, the Chiefs, different teams in the AFC, the Bills, Patriots. They're not going to get a wild card spot. They're going to have to win that division to get to the playoffs. I just don't see it this year. They will regress pretty majorly. Number 9, coaches on the hot seat. Let's see. Number 1 coach that comes to mind is Vic Fangio in Denver. Matt Nagy in Chicago comes to mind. I think Nick Sirianni in Philadelphia is on the hot seat before he's even played a game, honestly. I believe that. John Gruden. How about that name? Now, he's in year 4, I believe, of 10, where he's getting $100 million guaranteed. So they probably won't get rid of him anytime soon. But keep an eye out for John Gruden. A pretty bad win percentage throughout his first 3 years. 10 games under 500, if I'm not mistaken. And the team is not seeming to progress at all. They're seeming to stay stagnant. In fact, I believe they're easily the worst team in the AFC West this year. Denver, I think, is strides better than them. Watch out for John Gruden. Maybe a better TV personality than an actual NFL coach. And number 10, I said it a couple numbers ago, but the NFL is starting to become the NBA, little by little, and it's okay. I'm cool with it, but I'm noticing some patterns. For one, the players, the star players, namely quarterbacks, are making organizational decisions, and this is a new thing in the NFL. It's been happening in the NBA for years. Tom Brady, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers is the latest one. You had Deshaun Watson last year get a GM fired because he wasn't in the loop with who they were going to get, what the acquisitions they were going to make. Also, and I've never remembered the NFL to have so few teams I can believe are in contention for a championship. Right now, I only see 3 teams that I think could win a title this year, and that's the Chiefs, the Bucks, and maybe the Bills. I don't see anyone else in the NFC competing with the Bucks. The Bills are a good team. I don't see anyone else in the AFC really competing with the Chiefs. I think the Ravens will regress. I don't like the Saints. I don't think anyone does. It's looking like, Cavs Warriors from 2015 to 2018. I think Chiefs and Bucks might make it again this year and maybe even the next year. As long as Brady's still playing, the Bucks are going to have a chance. As long as Mahomes doesn't die, the Chiefs will have a chance. And the NFL, little by little, is starting to resemble the NBA, and I'm okay with it. And that is my first and 10.
Well, that was quite interesting.
Gift a gab for me, sir.
No, I mean, it's some good points there, and the whole Wentz and with the Colts, I agree with that. I agree with the Titans. They're not going to – I don't see them being anywhere to compete with the Chiefs or the Bucks. I don't even see them anywhere close to that. And the whole thing with, the vaccination rate stuff, that is a very good point because, if you don't get vaccinated and you're on that team, you're going to possibly cost your team to go to playoffs. And, regardless of what you really think about it, with politics on it, and, you're just it's not going to, it's like, do you let your whole team down or what do you do? And that's where it boils down to. But
absolutely,
we will have to see what happens there, and, it doesn't matter what you really think about, what side, vaccine or not, is still going to become an issue and a topic for the next probably year to 2 to 3 years.
It'll be around for a while, I think.
Regardless of anything. So that's a very good point. Yeah.
No real objection from you. That's what I like to hear.
Well, The night's still young.
There's plenty left. Plenty left.
Plenty left.
You want to get right into the top five?
Yeah, top 5 off seasons.
Yeah, this is the off-season edition. We're going to do top five. We're not going to do top 5 teams. We're going to do the top 5 off seasons. This is drafts. This is acquisitions. This is players coming back. Should be pretty interesting. You wanna go 1 for 1 here? I'll go 5. You go 5.
Yeah, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Number 5 for me is the New England Patriots. I think they had a phenomenal offseason. First of all, they lost 8 people to opt-outs last year. One of them being Dante Hightower, who is a big part of their defense in the middle. He was a cornerstone, and I don't know if people talked about enough that he wasn't there. He's held that defense down for years, and I think him coming back is big. They signed Matt Judon, who that's a big signing as well. Bring back Kyle Van Noy. That's 3 bona fide Pro Bowl linebackers right there. That's a good middle of the defense. Not only that, you lose Patrick Chung to retirement. You bring in Jalen Mills over from the Eagles. Jalen Mills is a decent safety. He's not great, but he will provide some protection in the back end. Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry on the offense, Nelson Aguilar, not the best receiver, but better than what they were working with last year. I'll tell you that. Cam Newton's glad to see those 3 guys there. Trent Brown on the offensive line is back in New England. That's a major addition. Kendrick Bourne, another nice piece at receiver. I think the Patriots, as I said in 1st and 10, are primed to have a sneaky good year. No matter if it's Cam or if it's Mac Jones. I think it's going to be Cam, though. That's my gut instinct. We'll have to see. I hear some good things about Mac, but we'll see. And I believe the Patriots are primed to have a good year. Like I said, the Bills better watch out. I still have the Bills winning the division, but the Patriots, they'll be sneaking up on them. And if anything, they'll be a wild card team, I believe. Who you got for 5?
I got the Patriots.
Okay.
But I want to. You hit on all the players, but there's one thing I disagree on. I disagree on Cam Newton. He cannot throw accurate 10 yards down the field. He can only run the ball with his legs. Yeah, he may have a game or 2. But the thing is this. Mac Jones is going to carry that football team. And I believe it's going to be this season. And they may end up, winning the division.
It's possible. I don't love Mac Jones's game. It's suited for the Patriots. Don't get me wrong, but he's in 2021. You have to be an athlete at quarterback, and he's not an athlete, and that's somewhat of a problem.
To me, he has the intangibles of maybe a Phillip Rivers.
Intangibles are great, but I need some tangibles.
But he can run. I mean, he's not going to run like Kyle Murray. He's not going to do that.
He's not going to run like Carson Wentz with a broken foot. He's slow.
I don't know about that. You're gonna have to let Carson Wentz go. But
I'm fine. He's gone. He's in Indy. He's hurt. Who do you want? I mean, Phillip Rivers, I think, would give Mac Jones a run for his money in terms of a race.
Well, I mean,
Rivers moves like a refrigerator. So, what I'm saying is Mac Jones is not the best athlete at this level.
No. I mean, he's not going to be. But I kind of disagree with you about you. You don't have to be that. It depends on what system you're in. But to me, this is the best place for Mac Jones.
I agree with that. However, I want you to think long and hard, maybe into next week, about what quarterbacks are thriving right now that are not athletic. Don't tell me Brady. All right, he's the last of the Mohicans back in 2000 he came in. Don't tell me that, or 99, excuse me. Who this day and age is not a super athlete that is thriving at quarterback. I challenge you to find one. Because right now I'm thinking Justin Herbert, I'm thinking Patrick Mahomes, I'm thinking Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Those guys are super talented. Kyler Murray, the guys that are running this league right now at quarterback are supreme athletes, maybe the best on their teams. Mac Jones doesn't fit in that category. We'll see. Cam Newton can't throw. I agree with you. So
me and you might have to put a wager on the side about this.
we might have to. I'll get to number 4 though. Jacksonville Jaguars. Now I said they're not going to have a great year. Maybe 4 wins or so, but obviously bring in Urban Meyer to coach the team. Trevor Lawrence, generational talent. Travis Etienne, bringing Carlos Hyde as a third stringer. You still got James Robinson. That's a solid running back room. Jordan Smith, a UAB edge rusher in the 4th round. I really like him as an edge rusher, and that's a guy not talked about a lot. He might be a phenomenal player on that defense. And again, I said it earlier, Tim Tebow if nothing else, he's bringing in eyeballs and selling tickets and merchandise. If nothing else, if he doesn't catch one pass as a tight end, he is making money for the team. I like what the Jaguars have done this offseason. Again, it's going to be baby steps. They're not going to win 9 or 10 games. I think they'll win 4, maybe 5. But they have had a pretty good offseason. I have them at number 4.
I got the Rams at 4. Just alone, you got Stafford. That's dangerous. He's on a good team finally. He's away from the Lions. To me, with Kupp, and you got Woods. Was it Deshaun Jackson there now?
Deshaun Jackson's there. Can't stay healthy though.
He can't stay healthy, and that's what I was going to bring up. I don't see this being a flashy is what it could be. But you have some good addition with Stafford. Him alone is going to be very beneficial. And that trade was absolutely probably the best thing the Rams has ever done in recent memory. So, my
problem with the trade is that you move up to get Jared Goff. When you move up to get Jared Goff, you trade away a first-round pick, and you use a first-round pick on Jared Goff. And then you trade another first-round pick to the Lions to get rid of Jared Goff. Mm-hmm. That's my problem with the Rams. Now, obviously, they had to do it. Stafford is an absolute upgrade. But I can't think of any momentous, monumental games that Stafford has had. And maybe that's because he was part of the Lions. But when you ask me, hey, Ben, tell me what Stafford's best game is, I can't come up with it because nothing he's ever done has been memorable to me. He's a good player. Is he going to elevate the Rams to Super Bowl contention? I don't think so. Not in that division.
No, I wouldn't say Super Bowl. No, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't. That would be that would be crazy to think. But that's why I put him at number 4. I think just him alone, it gives them that much more. And for the off season, you may give away a pick or something like that. But at the end of the day, if you want to win now, picks don't mean nothing.
He has a solid couple of years left of prime Stafford, I think. So you're right about that.
And we don't know what his ceiling really is.
I do like their offseason. Losing Akers is a major blow.
Yes.
And that was 4 for you. All right, number 3 for me, Carolina Panthers. You get McCaffrey back healthy. Now, you did say he can't sustain his NFL career running as much as he does. And I think they found the answer because they drafted Chuba Hubbard. McCaffrey's going to get a little bit of rest, a little bit more rest than he has gotten in the last 3 years, I should say. Sam Darnold, I disagree with you. I think Darnold is a major upgrade to Teddy Bridgewater. If you want to talk about someone who was performing poorly because they were in a bad situation, Darnold is right along there with Stafford. As the Lions and the Jets are two of the worst organizations in the NFL. Darnold can play. I believe Darnold can play. He's a big kid. He's athletic, has a good arm, good mentality, good leader. Just with the wrong organization, man. And that's one of the reasons why I just feel for Zach Wilson. Not only is he too small, but he just went to the worst organization you could go to. Darnold, I believe, will be a vast improvement to Teddy and even to Cam at the end in Carolina. He doesn't have to win it with his arm, like we just talked about. McCaffrey and Chuba will get the major bulk of the offense. J.C. Horn, phenomenal corner, picked in the first round. They needed a corner. They got him. Terrace Marshall at LSU. He was probably overlooked by Jamar Chase, but he's a stud himself out of LSU. Just like Jamar Chase was overlooked by Justin Jefferson, Terrace Marshall is overlooked by Jamar Chase. And Terrace Marshall is a steal where they got him. Brady Christensen, good offensive tackle out of BYU in the third round. They needed an offensive tackle. I believe they addressed all their needs in the draft. They got a quarterback. They're not paying him a ton. So if it doesn't work out, they can get rid of him super easy. I think the Panthers had a great offseason. I have them number 3.
Well, I mean, I do think he's an upgrade from Teddy. But that's
definitely.
But that's all I gotta say good about him. I mean, we will see. Yeah, he was with Jets, and Jets is probably worst organization there is in football.
Maybe one of the worst organizations in pro sports.
Yeah, and you don't really know what you got. So, I mean, it's possible, but I wouldn't put him much more over Teddy. But that's one of we'll have to wait and see, and that's the reason why we're having a discussion in the off season, show, because we can look back at this and say, hey, this is, what we talked about, and look.
I believe, it's real quick, I'll let you get to number 3 in 1 second. I believe that the biggest difference between the two, Teddy Bridgewater is as conservative as they come. Darnold will let it rip. And that's I think what the Panthers were missing. Now, obviously, we don't want him to throw 20 interceptions. If they can, if they can kind of counteract that, still keep the going for it, I think that's going to be a win. And like I said, McCaffrey, Chuba Hubbard, they're going to take the bulk of the offense anyway. Sam Darnold, there's not a lot of pressure on him. He's not getting paid a ton. I think he'll come in. Matt Rule is probably a great coach for him. Like I said, good leader. I think it's a good situation, and I think the Panthers may surprise in that division this year. Not that they're going to win it, but they may be second. They may finish ahead of the Saints and the Falcons.
Okay. 3 for me. It's going to be kind of like my number 1. And the reason why I'm going to leave them, have them in the top 5, because I think not just getting additions, it is important to sign and keep players.
Okay.
That have viable roles. And the Chiefs has done that. The Chiefs have really kept their pieces together, yet Hill, Kelsey. I mean, that just explains it all right there. You can keep those two. I mean, that's great. And now they bulked up their offensive line.
Yes.
And bulking up their offensive line is going to allow Mahomes to do what he does best more if he needs to. Now, do I think they're going to be able to sustain what they've been doing for the past, couple of years? No. But
I don't see why not.
But we will have to see. I mean, that's one of the wait to sees, and them beefing on the offensive line to me means more than what they even done in the defensive side of the ball. For them trying to, got a few extra pieces, the draft and all this stuff. To me, that's the reason why they're number 3 for me.
I completely agree with that. I really like that. I was thinking about putting the Chiefs in myself. They didn't quite make the top 5 for me, but I love what you said. It is important to keep your stars in a way that doesn't hurt the team financially. And they seem to do that. Got Thuney on the offensive line. Yep, kept the defense intact for the most part as well. Them and this is why I say the Chiefs and the Bucks, man, because both those teams kept everybody for the most part. The Chiefs lost their 2 offensive tackles, but they brought 2 in. Other than that team is pretty similar to last year, and the Bucks lost hardly anybody. So I think it's going to be a run it back situation. I really like that take there. I completely agree with that. We'll go to number 2 here. New York Giants. As much as it pains me to say it, as an Eagles fan, but the Giants are looking strong. I think they're going to make a case to win the division. And here's why. Saquon Barkley coming back. Now, I did say don't give him the rock too much because it could hinder Daniel Jones's growth. But find the balance. He's still a stud. He's still a star offensive player. He'll run better with the offensive line that they shored up this year. Along with that, you bring in Leonard Williams on the defensive front. That's a great 3-year deal. Adoree Jackson, corner from the Titans, bring him in. He's a lockdown number 1 corner. Kenny Golladay, John Ross, 2 veteran receivers. Kenny Golladay is going to come in and be your number 1. Kadarius Toney out of Florida, maybe the most underrated receiver in the whole draft, in my opinion. That's a great draft. Kyle Rudolph to back up Evan Engram. 2 tight end sets could be happening. Along with that, they got heavy defense in the draft, couple of linebackers late. I'm really liking what the Giants are doing. Joe Judge looks like he's a player's coach. He's hard on them, but it looks like they like him. Little Belichickian in the way he goes about his business came from that system. I like the way the Giants are looking in the offseason. I have them at number 2.
We're totally different there.
I figured that.
I mean, but if everything falls right and the stars align like it's supposed to, then I can see that happening.
I mean, I make great points. What can I say? What else can I say besides that?
You made great points for a perfect scenario.
Obviously, Daniel Jones can't be giving the ball away. I understand that's the biggest thing. But for an offseason, the Giants, I believe, hit it out of the park.
Well, yeah, they got some good additions. But, I mean, they're not going to be able – they're not going to win the division.
I mean, they might not, but I'm saying their offseason was stellar.
Yeah. I mean, Barkley coming back is a huge addition if he can go back to form like he was. Yeah, of course, you got these off-season photos of him with his legs, size of tree trunks, and he's running around, and I don't even know, that may be photoshopped. All I know, but we'll just have to see. I mean, that's the beautiful thing about this show. We're doing this for the off season, talking about it before this preseason, the season starts, because we can follow up with this.
Oh yeah, we will.
Well, I know you ain't gonna like this one.
Let's do it.
The Browns number 2.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it.
With Clowney coming, you
I
got
don't.
Miles.
I don't love that signing, but
Well, you got Miles Garrett on the other side. Of course, you have a first rounder in was it Nelson come over? It was a corner, or Newsome. I mean, it was a corner. They've kept things intact also. Yeah, they haven't
yes,
kept things. They haven't kept things intact like the Chiefs and the Bucks. But whenever I was thinking about, all right, my top 5, I'm like, yeah, I can sit here and talk about these rookies and worry about these rookies coming in, saying they're going to be great, good, or these older veterans that, that are in their careers. But to me, keeping these younger, good players, Chubb, I mean,
yeah.
I don't think he's talked about enough.
No, he's a top 5 running back for sure.
And he's not talked about enough. And, to me, keeping them is good. Baker may, I don't, that's not me. I can't see him being a franchise quarterback.
I agree completely. I'm not a Baker fan either.
Now, if he goes out and does the same thing or better this year, then I'll change my mind, possibly. But to me, they're a run the ball first and just keep on running the ball. That's just what they need to do.
They'll run play action. They'll
Yep.
run play action off their running game, as they should. Baker can run that offense if he's throwing 20-ish times a game, maybe 22 to 24 times a game. If he's throwing over 30 times a game, that's where you get into trouble. But I do agree they had a good offseason. Bring over John Johnson from the Rams, great safety. That's a good move as well. Their offensive line, I don't know if they did anything to it, but it was great last year. It may be the best offensive line in football. So I do like the Browns this year to win that division. Close in front of the Ravens. Don't know how far Baker can carry them in the postseason, but I agree with you. They've had a decent offseason for sure.
Yeah, I mean, they kept everybody what they needed there and added a few, and keeping that chemistry there, and Baker can do what he can do, and better. Like I said, 20 times a game, But yeah, if he goes over that, it's pretty bad.
Now, like I said, Odell coming back, who knows what that could do? Who knows what that could do in the way of negative chemistry? Also, I said at the top, but the number one name I don't think you've mentioned for Cleveland is Kevin Stefanski, who finally they found their coach, a competent guy, grown up. Freddie Kitchens was not the guy. Hugh Jackson not the guy.
No.
X, O, A, B, C, D, E were not the guys. Kevin Stefanski looks like the guy. So that's the biggest name, I think. Like I said earlier, coaching is going to be at a premium going forward. And he's one of the better ones, I think, in the league.
Yeah. Good take.
And number 1 for me, Los Angeles Chargers. What an offseason they had. You know what they needed going into the draft? They needed a corner. They needed a tackle. You know what they got in their first 2 picks? Rashawn Slater. Some call him the best offensive tackle out in the draft. And Asante Samuel Jr. Some call him the best corner in the draft. Got them in the first and second rounds, respectively. Lost Hunter Henry. Picked up Trey McKitty, a tight end, in the 3rd round. brought in Corey Linsley from the Packers to play center. Brought in Matt Feeler from the Steelers to play guard. They've shored up the offensive line. Justin Herbert is a machine, one of my favorite young players in football. Might have to talk about him a little bit more coming up. And I love everything the Chargers have done. Watch out, Chiefs. I don't think Chargers are winning the division, but they will make the playoffs as a wild card team. It's going to be a fun one this year for that team. I can't wait to watch them.
Also, Joe Lombardi, the offense coordinator.
Yep.
I like the Chargers.
New coach, Brandon Staley, new coach. We'll see. If Herbert can put up those numbers, with the previous regime, he can do it with this new one. So they were a mess all year last year with injuries, and pretty much in every, aspect except the quarterback. Justin Herbert, man, a rookie coming in playing the way he did inside of chaos, that makes me hopeful for how good he's going to be. One of my favorite young players in football. And great offseason.
And also too, you have Eckler.
Yeah, he's still there. Last year when he had the bell cow role, he didn't quite produce as much as we thought. So we'll see.
That will change.
See.
We'll see.
Who'd you got for number one, man?
Well, like I said, number one is pretty much close in a way. Bucks. I know it's kind of vanilla kind of thing, but they signed everyone back basically. You
can't argue with
together. You sign extension. You have a Hall of Fame, the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady.
Yep.
And the thing is what he does with his contract allows everybody else, allows them to get people in. To me, you can't complain. I mean, his off-season workouts are insane. He's basically is not even aging. And I remember
it's crazy.
I remember someone across from me on this computer, talking about the aging quarterbacks, which he got one right about Breeze.
Absolutely.
Tom Brady, which no one could ever really expect this.
Hey, I'll say I was completely wrong on that with Brady, but I'm willing to admit that because Brady is obviously the best quarterback of all time. It's once he got his fifth ring, I think the conversation was over. Now he's at 7. He's at 1 with a new team after 6 with New England. The first year he's at that new team. I think they're the odds-on favorites for one this year as well. It's I have to eat my words on that. He's looking like he has not aged. At some point, Father Time will get him, but it's a lot. It's going to be a lot later than I thought.
And the way it sounds is 2 more years.
We'll see. I mean, if he can stay upright, maybe it's more. He's still good. He's still good enough to play. We'll see.
So Ben, let me ask you a question. Does he play till he's 50?
I could see it happen. I don't think so, but it's possible. It's possible. If anyone could do it, it's him. That's, if anyone could do it, it's Tom Brady.
And he definitely, if he can't play at the starting level, he will not be a backup. And I can just about do that. No. But I will say this. I would never put out, if he did retire, and because he stayed in such great shape, if a contending team in the playoffs needed somebody, I would never say he wouldn't. Just
kind of like Gronk. I know they signed him for the full year last year, but there, you heard talks about him maybe joining the team down the stretch, for that playoff push. And he didn't do much in the regular season, but when the playoffs hit, he caught 2 touchdowns in the Super Bowl. Yeah, I agree. Brady could do the same thing now. Now, do I think that Giselle has a say here soon in the year or two? Yeah, for sure. Because he's pushing 50, so I'm sure she's ready. She's ready to spend some more time with him. But he has said he's going to do it as long as he's still capable of playing at the level he should be playing at, and as long as he's still having fun. So it could be more than 2 years, and I'll be watching as long as it happens.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is a once. I mean, this is maybe in a more than a once in a lifetime kind of deal. You really get to see. You don't see this. I mean,
No,
this is the first time ever. I mean, could Mahomes do this? Well, it's possible, but it's
no,
hard. It's hard. It's hard. I don't see this happening. Being like Brady, and also to Brady's story, being drafted where he was drafted at, and of course what he looked like to now is a
of
story
course.
of its own.
I mean, he looks better now than he did when he was drafted. That's crazy.
He looks better than 10 years ago.
That's the crazy part to me. All right. Well, I like it. I like your number 3 and 1. You're right. A little safe, but I
Yeah,
have to agree on both of them because those are good off seasons when you could retain the guys that got you there in the first place. That is a good off season.
yeah,
And those are the two teams to beat, I would say. I mean, I'd be shocked if they're not both in their respective conference championships.
exactly.
So there goes the top five. I liked it. I had some good ones, some interesting takes. You want to get into the fantasy outlook for the year? You want to get studs and duds going?
Yeah, I'll throw out some studs and duds right here.
Okay, and this is going to be for the entire season, not for week one like we usually do. This is going to be for the whole year. We're doing the whole show, the whole year in this show, off season all the way through the end. So, who you got?
We got three studs. It's going to be a quick recap, for this because we really hit over some of these players already through the, top five talking about it and through the first and 10.
Are you
You know,
doing are you doing a quarterback, running back, and receiver?
it's a little bit mixed up.
Okay.
And actually, I will have no quarterbacks in neither one of these
Okay.
because this is what I think. I think Eckler. I know we may disagree a little bit about this, but with Joe Lombardi's system, the way he plays and what his players that he's had before in that type of system and the type versatility that those players have, and be honest with you, and people may really think this is bad, I think Justin Herbert is better now than the past couple of years than Drew Brees. And that may be, people may get far-fetched, don't like that, but it's the truth. I think this kid is going to be an absolute league shocking quarterback. No, he's not going to be, and I
I
don't
think
know
there's
if he's
going to
going
be
to
any shock anymore.
Yeah, and that's I don't even know if he's going to be a shock. So with him, with Eckler, I like the way that Eckler plays. Yes, like you talk about, the workhorse thing, he did not do quite. I'm not worried about that. I think this year he's going to bust out. I think this year he's going to be a must-have in season long and in DFS.
Wow. Okay.
McCaffrey, he's pretty much going to be your guy that you want to have. He's on top of the charts when you look at your season long. He's going to be the top priced over there, your DFS. My thing is this: you cannot go wrong with having him. Yeah, it may be a safe option, but why not? I mean, yeah, the offense line may not be great, but I don't think that really matters the way that he plays. Not with
No,
him.
no, I don't think so.
And the other stud I have is Ridley. He's
Okay.
facing a wide receiver over in Atlanta now. And actually, you know, yes, quarterback situation and stuff like that. Yeah, he might be getting older and all this stuff. But here's the thing: Ridley's going to get his targets. Ridley's going to get the yard. He's going to get touchdowns. Even with the other additions they got with Pitts, which is I think is a very good addition.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the best draft picks in the whole draft. But really, I'll say you have to go with him. I mean, I wouldn't take him over Hopkins by any means, but if you want to look at targets, I could. Why you can't go wrong with that. Over at my duds.
Well, I'll go ahead. I'll go ahead and do my studs first if you want. But I'll go ahead and do studs first, and we'll go get to your duds. All right. But first, I completely disagree with Eckler. And also McCaffrey, to be honest with you. And halfway Ridley too. Now, I do think Ridley's going to get the targets. He has the biggest potential to be a stud of the three of them. But I think that an aging quarterback, like you said, Ridley is no longer the number two. He will be covered by the other team's best corner every week. Julio Jones had two people on him every time. So Ridley got his numbers. Can Ridley now? I do think Ridley can hold up. He is a talented player, but will he have the numbers without someone garnering that much attention from the defense? Maybe. He'll definitely have the target. Give you there. Eckler, don't see it. See a running back by committee there, if anything. Justin Jackson is still there, and he played a good amount last year as well. Eckler is the number one guy, but nothing he did last year in his first role as starter showed me that he's going to take it by the reins this year. So we'll have to wait and see. It's possible he does. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe the new offensive coordinator, maybe the new head coach find something in him, because in my opinion, Eckler was a better player when he was the backup, just like Ridley was a better player, I think, or will be when he was the second string, or the non-primary receiver like Julio was. So, and then McCaffrey, yes, he'll get his touches, but he has a backup now that is coming out of Oklahoma State, Chuba Hubbard, phenomenal talent. They drafted him for a reason. They didn't draft him to sit on the bench. McCaffrey is, I talked about the size thing earlier. McCaffrey's a smaller running back. He's been hurt a couple times already in his 4 years. This is now becoming a trend. The first sign of fatigue or injury or, anything that gives the Panthers some sort of concern, Chuba's going to get more touches. Not more touches than McCaffrey, but they might share a workload. They might split it 60-40. I don't see McCaffrey being worth the top overall pick in fantasy this year. I just don't see it. But let me get to my studs here. Number one, quarterback Justin Herbert. I think he will be maybe a top 5 player in fantasy this year. He had the rookie record for yards, had the rookie record for touchdowns. I think he's going to pick up right where he left off and do even better in year 2. I don't see a sophomore slump for him. Yes, there'll be a new offense. Yes, there's a new head coach. Justin Herbert is a generational talent, and he showed us that last year. Like I said, I liked it a lot. Actually, all 3 of my studs were rookies last year. So hopefully we see all 3 of them bloom. Number 2 for me is running back Jonathan Taylor. Especially with Wentz out, Jonathan Taylor is going to get all the work he can handle in the first half of the season. I think he will, even if Wentz comes back. But Jonathan Taylor, down the stretch last year, was one of the better fantasy running backs in fantasy football. and he will get all the touches he can handle. Like I said, he'll carry that offense, especially with a great offensive line that they have. Jonathan Taylor, look for him to be maybe an RB1 in fantasy this year, season long. And number 3, another rookie last year, wide receiver Justin Jefferson will overtake Adam Thielen as the Vikings' number 1 target. I think that's inevitable at this point. Justin Jefferson had a monster first year. I believe these are the 3 top players in the rookie of the year, 1, 2, and 3, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they're all going to take jumps in year 2. Justin Jefferson is a huge target, 6'4", 6'5", big body, fast, can separate, can decelerate just as fast as he accelerates, and seemingly unguardable last year. Came on strong as a rookie. I love him in year 2. Those are my 3 studs.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, Herbert. I mean, that's going to be one of the favorites. I don't even think that's going to be a close. I mean, yeah, you're going to have your people that you want to get. People talk about they're going to want Patrick Mahomes or Tom Brady, but when you start going down further later in the rounds, if he's still there, that is someone you need to get.
You're playing in a 10. If you're playing in a 10 or 12 team league, he won't be there past the 2nd or 3rd round. I don't think.
Yeah, it just depends on what your mind says, how you want to go about doing your season long. If you, to me, picking a quarterback that high, generally not my thing, but I can see why. I mean, you can get someone like that in the 2nd, 3rd, like 3rd, maybe 4th.
If he gets you points, it gets you points.
Yeah, I mean, it's true. It's you may sacrifice something else, but it depends on. It just depends about how big the league is too. So, you ready for my judge?
Let's hear him. Let's hear this nonsense.
Well, I think Julio was a dud.
Okay.
You talking about injuries. I mean, yeah, you really don't want to put injuries and say this year is going to be the same as last year, but he seems like he has a lot of, not major injuries, but maybe some soft tissue.
Yeah, just a lot of little ones.
It's a lot of little ones. And now that he's with Brown over there, I don't know if he's not going to do what he did in Atlanta.
Well, no, he also downgraded in quarterback in terms of being able to give him targets.
And I'm not saying that he's going to be Larry Fitzgerald by any stretch of imagination, but I don't see him getting anywhere close to that. And I don't think he's a wide receiver 1 anymore.
I don't think so. Not with AJ Brown.
So the wide receiver 2 to 3, yes. But no, I don't. I will not. This way, he's not even on my radar to even get. Just to me. Now, go over to Vegas, to those Raiders over there. I think Jacobs is going to be a dud. He also got split carries with Drake over there now. So they have gotten Drake. Now, if they didn't pay Drake to be someone that splits or, only gets 25% of the carries over there. And I think Drake's a very good player. I think, yes, he's had, maybe a couple of injuries and a couple that, maybe alter some of his stats, but he's explosive. And I think he's going to be really good. And I think Jacobs is going to be more, maybe situational or something like that. So I'm going to stay clear of him in all, but in all formats as of right now. The biggest one of all that's going to surprise you, Ben, is going to be Aaron Jones' my other dud.
Okay.
and hear me out. They don't have Williams in the backfield anymore. They only have Dillon. And Dillon, when he played last year, he showed, a very good, bright future. And to me, I see him being the running back one for the Packers' future.
I agree.
And regardless of what we may think that will happen to Rodgers at the end of the year, if he stays or goes, I foresee something major happen to the Packers where players are going to want to leave if things do not change. I would not be surprised if something just happens and trade talks start, or even something to the remote thing. Aaron Jones, if he gets used up too much, he may get injured. And like you said earlier, some players may end up taking time off because of the extra game,
Yes.
and he seems like the type player that you would want to do that to, or he will make that happen. Yeah, he's not maybe as vocal as others, but that's the reason why I'm not really eyeing him. Now, of course, if someone like that drops down to an appropriate spot, yeah, I'll take him.
Of course.
I mean, of course. I mean,
He
why
won't.
would? But what? I don't see his upside being like last year.
I agree. I agree with that.
And like Devontae Adams with them too, that could be possibly another one I was thinking about, because I don't see him doing what he did last year either.
Okay.
But that's me, a Packers fan, saying that, because, this is what I see. And I see Dillon being the future for the Packers.
I agree with that. Now, where I'll push back on with that, Aaron Jones just signed a 4-year contract with Green Bay. And I agree with you. I don't think he'll put on the same season as he did last year, but he's there for a little while, and the whole team was happy that he's there. So AJ Dillon, that's a solid backup. He may be the future, but Aaron Jones is the present. Do I think he'll be a stud? No, not to the degree of last year, but I definitely don't think you should steer clear. But I see where you're getting at there. I see where you're getting at. I'll go ahead and start with quarterback Trevor Lawrence as my first stud. He just doesn't have enough firepower to throw to. He doesn't have anybody. You have DJ Chark. James Robinson out of the backfield is pretty solid. ETN has been taking reps at running back and receiver. So you have those three guys. But besides that, it's going to be a learning curve for him. It's not going to be Clemson anymore, even though he was playing the highest level he could possibly play in college. It's going to be faster. Trevor Lawrence, I do think, is a generational talent, but this first year, I don't expect huge fantasy numbers from him. There'll be growing pains. Jaguars won't do well as a team, and I don't think you should take him too high in drafts. I wouldn't steer clear if you need a quarterback late, but don't take him in the early or even middle rounds, in my opinion. I think he'll have a mediocre year, a decent rookie year. I don't think he's going to put up Justin Herbert numbers. That's for sure. Number 2, running back from the Las Vegas Raiders, Josh Jacobs.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. And I misspoke earlier when I said Drake was still on the Cardinals. I had forgot that he went to the Raiders. But even without thinking about Drake and the Raiders, I still thought Josh Jacobs would have a down year. For one, he didn't have a particularly good year last year. And that was with a much better offensive line than what they're coming in with this year. Derek Carr better watch out. Josh Jacobs better watch out. anyone who's has the ball on the offensive side better watch out because there will be holes all over that offensive line. Um, it's piecemeal together, and I am not I'm not a fan of Jacobs this year. Like I say, didn't have a productive season last year. The Raiders are in somewhat of turmoil. Like I said, John Gruden could be on the quasi hot seat. Derek Carr doesn't want to be there. It doesn't seem like he's saying all the right things, but I think he'll be open to leaving. Not a fan of Josh Jacobs this year for sure, and I completely agree with what you said there. And number 3, wide receiver Odell Beckham. I want you to tell me when the last year he had a good fantasy year was. Was it 18 or 17? Maybe 16? He is much more of a he's much more of a star now than he is a quality football player, in my opinion. He's still good, obviously, but he has star power in he has international star power, which most football players don't. He's really more of an NBA player in that sense, more of a world type figure. But the problem with that is he's not focused on football 24/7 like he needs to be. When he is focused on football, he's asking for the ball way too much. He has his LSU teammate Jarvis Landry on the other side, who is not making any noise, but producing at the same rate or even higher than he does. Baker Mayfield is more comfortable throwing to other people than Odell because Odell has this aura about him to where if he's on the field, he needs the ball. And if he doesn't, he'll pout. And Baker has looked more comfortable, like I said, without. I said, watch out for that chemistry when he comes back this year. I think the best thing that happened to the Browns last year, as unfortunate as it sounds, was Odell getting hurt. So, yeah. So don't see a good fantasy year, and it's been a couple of years since he's had one. I don't see many more in his future in the NFL, to be honest. And those are my 3 duds.
Well, that was pretty good. I mean, Lawrence, I don't know if I can really even take him at all. I mean,
I just know that people will draft higher than they could, and I just say, hold on.
Yeah.
Think about it before you do that, because yes, he may be great in a number of years, but right now he just doesn't have the firepower he needs to compete in that division, in that conference. They need more pieces. They have plenty of cap room. They had a good offseason, but they need a couple more good off seasons, I think, before Lawrence really gets comfortable.
To me, it depends on the format of your league in season long.
What you mean?
To roster Lawrence. I don't know if I could really do it. I mean, I guess after 3 or 4 weeks, if you start doing something, if he's still there or if you need him, on the wire or something like that, I guess grab him. But yeah, I mean, I agree. People are going to want to get Lawrence because he's the number 1 pick in all the hype.
Yep.
They think they're going to come out and they're blazing, and I don't see that. Will they win a few games? Possible. It's possible. But no, and yeah, I don't really see it.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm glad we both had Josh Jacobs. I just see a down year for him. We're completely in agreement on that. Before we wrap this thing up, man, you want to get to your favorite bets of the year?
Yeah. Of course, we're going to disagree on the first one I'm thinking about is I think the Giants on the under 7 games. They're at plus 10 on certain sites. And like I said, I don't see them doing anything. I don't. Yes, the stars can get aligned and Barkley and Jones can go out there and
plus 110, you mean?
Yep.
Plus 110? Okay.
And my thing is this. There's too much that has to go right for them to win 7 games. And there's no dig on anything the Giants, because I agree with you. I think they got good pieces, but I think there's just too much wrong, and I think there's something deeper of an issue than anything that a roster like that can fix.
What do you
Just
think
me.
the issue is?
I don't know if it could be management, and it could be just, something just keeps on brewing and brewing out there. It is something there that is not clicking, and it's something there. And when it's something like that, I don't want to touch that. And I don't see them being, a division winner, but crazier things have happened.
I can understand you not wanting to touch that, but you're confident that they will win less than 7 games. You're willing to put your money on that they win less than 7.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
And I will.
Because honestly, I saw that line as well. I saw that over under, and I was kind of like you. I was like, I don't want to touch this either way. You know what I mean? I'm not confident they'll go over 7. I'm also not confident they'll go under 7. So for me, that was just stay away completely.
And with the extra game, it makes you think more.
Of course.
So it makes you think, but I'm pretty confident. And be honest with you, I see them possibly losing the first 5 or 6 games.
Okay.
So that don't leave much more left after that.
All right. What else you got?
You're gonna like this one.
Yeah.
It's not much of a, you got to put a lot down to win more. Is the Eagles over 6.5? Some of these, they're at minus 150.
Oh, so the line thinks they're gonna do well. That's what the money's on right now. Them going over 6.5.
And be honest with you, I picked them going over that, like, easily, very easy. Like, I don't see them having any issue doing it. And be honest with you, I think they can contend in this division and possibly even contend with the Cowboys. If the Cowboys do what they generally do and they mess it up, I see the Eagles possibly sneaking out and winning this division, which makes you happy.
That'd be great. I don't see that, but that'd be great.
Well, I don't see why would it be far-fetched? I don't.
Well, for starters, we have no skill position players. That's my main concern. Devontae Smith is 150 pounds soaking wet, already hurt. That's supposed to be our number 1. Our number 2 is Jalen Reagor, who in a draft filled with Justin Jefferson and other receivers of that caliber, we went with Jalen Reagor. So that's for starters. While I am pessimistic, Nick Sirianni as a head coach, I'm not sold on. We'll see what happens. He did come from the Colts, but he looks like he's in over his head. Jalen Hurts, I do like Jalen Hurts. I thought he played well at the end of last year, but who's he going to throw to? Once again, Zach Ertz wants to be out of Philadelphia as about as bad as anybody. Behind them, you do have Goddard, solid tight end. Miles Sanders out of the backfield is a solid player as well, but there's not a lot of pieces that I'm seeing with us right now, and that's scary to me, and I think it's detrimental to the team. I love that you think that. I don't see 7 wins for the Eagles.
Don't worry about Devontae Smith's weight and size.
I'm worried. I just said earlier.
Don't worry about
it. Size matters. I'm worried. He is skinny. He's not just small. He's skinny.
He's gonna win Rookie of the Year.
I would love to see it. I would love to. I hope I'm wrong.
And Reagor, I think that he going to become very good too. yes, it's young and there's things to worry about, but you also have Kelsey. You know, there
Yeah,
you
he's
have
old.
you have leadership, and I got a feeling it's going to be just fine. I
Okay.
got a feeling that Devontae Smith's going to be way better than Ridley. Maybe not this year, but as a career wise, I think it when both career ends, I think so. But
Okay.
I like, you probably say I'm an Eagles hater, but we're good here.
I don't think you're an Eagles hater.
I'm more positive about the Eagles than you are this year, and that's
That's
shocking.
that's right. That's right. We'll see. Who's your third team?
Well, I got a long shot, very long shot. The to me, I think the obvious. You can go to the Chiefs win a Super Bowl or the Bucks win the Super Bowl. I have two that is actually at the same at plus 1,200, and that's the Bills and Packers winner Super Bowl. One of those two. But what intrigues me the most, and you don't agree with it, is I really like the Cardinals as a long shot winning the Super Bowl at plus 4,800. I have put money on that.
Folks, save your money, please. Do not fall into that trap. My man Hugh, he knows what he's talking about, but let's not get carried away here. I'm just this
If
is,
you have, if you got some
utter
change in the,
nonsense.
that is, I'm telling you, that is a long shot. Of course, that may be only a 20% or something by my chance, but I like it.
Okay, you're welcome to like it. I'm happy that you like it. I just in that division, I can't see the Cardinals finishing anywhere but fourth. So that you can't win a Super Bowl if you finish fourth in your division.
Who do you have above them?
What do you mean in the division? Every team.
So you think everybody else in that division is
Yes,
better than them?
yes. Seattle, San Francisco, and Los Angeles Rams. They're all better than the Cardinals. Absolutely.
I don't see San Francisco being anywhere close.
Okay, that's fine.
And Vegas may think so. They may think they're a top 5, but they're wrong.
Okay, that's fine. Kyle Shanahan. I mean, that's my first phrase I'm going to utter there is Kyle Shanahan, the coach. He's maybe the best offensive coach in football. It's between him and McVay. Those are the two, and they're both in the division with Arizona Cardinals. So, besides that, you have Seattle Seahawks, who have Pete Carroll, maybe the best defensive coach in football. Russell Wilson, top 2 quarterback in football. Maybe top 3 if you want to, nitpick. But no, the Cardinals will be an exciting team. They'll finish fourth in the division. But I like it. I do like it, folks. Folks, do not waste that money. Is all I'm gonna say.
You only live once.
I get it. You can't take it with you. I get it.
So basically, then you'll just put your money on your Chiefs and just let it ride.
No, I got some stuff over here for you. Not the Chiefs.
Come on with it. I want to hear it.
All right. We're gonna go with the Patriots 9.5. I'm taking the over. 9.5. Patriots are winning 10 games easy this year. And like I said, the Bills better watch out. It'll be close in that division. Patriots, whether it be Mac Jones or Cam Newton, I still think it's going to be Cam. Bill Belichick will be running the show regardless. I see them as a 10 or 11 win team. I think 9.5 is way too low. Patriots will be back in the playoffs and back doing Patriot things after a 1-year rest. The Jacksonville Jaguars at 6.5 wins. That is absolutely a trap. Take the under. 6.5, super high, I think. That feels like a 4-win team to me. Trevor Lawrence, like I said, I think he'll play well. He won't be a fantasy stud by any means. James Robinson will regress, obviously, because he won't be getting the touches he got last year. ETN and him will split carries, and they'll both have just average seasons. Urban Meyer is going to make some mistakes as a head coach, for sure. Jaguars will not win 7 games like they'll need to cover that line. 4 or 5, maybe even 6, not 7. Take the under at 6.5 for Jacksonville.
What's the odds?
I didn't get the odds on it. But I didn't get the odds on it, but I know the line was 6.5, and that's too high. If you want to check it out real quick.
I'm checking it out. You go ahead for your next one.
Well, this is my favorite bet. Some providers have the Steelers at 8.5 wins. I say take the over easily with the Steelers. I want you to tell me, Hugh, where did they regress? Besides offensive line, where did they get worse?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I've really thought the same thing about the Steelers. You know, I don't
eight and a half.
And I like Najee. I like Najee Harris in there. And
absolutely.
And I think that he is going to be another one that could be rookie of the year, because in that system, not saying he's going to be a Derrick Henry.
No.
But he doesn't have to be.
He won't be a Derrick Henry, but he's not built like Derrick Henry anyway. If he could be Willie Parker, that's good enough. He's definitely an upgrade over James Conner. Bringing back the top 3 receivers. Big Ben reportedly is in good shape. The defense is still elite with Minkah Fitzpatrick, Devin Bush coming back off an injury, Cam Hayward on the defensive line, Joe Hayden on the corner. That's still an elite defense. TJ Watt, don't let me forget him. That's a great defense. Great offense. They didn't regress in any area except maybe offensive line, and they will have to figure that out. If they can piecemeal that together enough to protect Big Ben and to let Najee Harris run through some holes, I think they'll be substantially higher than 8.5 wins, 10 or 11 minimum.
And the whole thing with the 6.5 for the Jaguars, that is a minus 125
for the under.
Yep.
And yeah, I agree. Take that money.
And for the over, the Steelers is actually plus 100.
Okay, that's my favorite. That's why I said it's my favorite bet.
And be honest with you, that is a safe bet in my opinion.
Absolutely, make your money, folks. Don't do anything with the Cardinals. Go directly to Pittsburgh and see what's going on up there in the Northeast.
I think, of course, I know that you're saying that and everything about the whole Cardinals. The thing is this: a long shot. If you want to make a safe bet, yes, Steelers, But if you want to do a long shot, and actually, even the Steelers are a long shot.
I'd take them in a heartbeat over the Cardinals,
in my opinion. So take them too. I mean, I don't. If you can play safe and go Bucks or Chiefs, but that's vanilla. That's whatever you want to do. But if you want to live once, and you got money laying around, I would take it on the Steelers or the Cardinals. I would.
Definitely on the Steelers win total. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team, but definitely on their win total. I love that bet. 8.5. I love that line. Plus 100. Give me that. That's my favorite.
Go put your $1 million on it.
No, I will. At least $5.
Well, it doesn't make a difference. Loss is a profit when you win. That's what makes the difference.
That's right. Well, we wrapped up everything we wanted to get across here. Anything else that interests you about the offseason?
Man, I think, of course, all the talk was the Packers and Aaron Rodgers. That was a storyline. Some things came out true, some things came out not. Like I said earlier, till you hear it comes out of someone's mouth, it's hard to really put a lot, things together. And we all knew that he was not happy, but people were thinking, well, he didn't sign his contract extension because he, it's not enough money, that was a total lie. Basically when he came out, he said this is a thing that he wants more involved with decisions.
Yeah,
Now
that's the way the league's going.
And now, since before he signed the actual, papers and everything, he wanted Cobb. Cobb's on the team. That is starting to work and progress where he was like, either I play and you give me what I want, that negotiation, which I think things are going to come out more in the coming weeks and probably throughout the season. Hopefully it's not a distraction because it's already been a distraction off season to the fans. To the players, I think the players are actually more liking Rodgers now in a way because, he stuck it to the man, basically, that kind of, sense. But
I don't agree with that.
Well, I wouldn't expect you to.
I like what he did. I'm a Rodgers fan. I'm completely okay with what he did. I think the media in large part is completely okay with what he did. I don't think the Midwest Green Bay Packers fans are okay with that. I think he has soured a lot of their thoughts on Aaron Rodgers, and a lot of them can't wait for him to go. And I will say, be careful what you wish for, because if Jordan Love is not Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers caliber, it's going to be over for you. You had 30 straight years of good quarterback play. Don't get rid of him too soon. That's all I'm saying.
Well, hold on now. We ain't going to get off this conversation. I think Jordan Love will be a whole lot better than what people think.
Okay. I'm not saying he won't be. I'm saying if he's not, be careful what you wish for.
I think the more we worry about will be what else falls apart. He's going to retire or he's going to move on in the next year or two or three, whatever. And it's either going to be he retires as a Packer or he goes somewhere else. And I would not say that he would not go to the Raiders. I wouldn't say he wouldn't do that. To me, I think they're going to try to do something long term. I really do. Now, it's going to be if he wants that or not. And, they restructured some things. Of course, some things that didn't come, not everything's going to come out with that. But I think the more worry is, Devontae Adams, he wants to go play with Carr. That's already been known. Now, but if Carr don't stay with the Raiders, where's he going to go? And he may not have the opportunity. Do they still stay there? Who knows? And but the thing is before people really jump to conclusion, they're going to have to listen to somebody actually say something versus, even though you may have some media people, reporters that are actually very credible, but they still make mistakes too. And that did come out that they made huge mistakes of what they reported. So
absolutely.
And you can't trust everything you hear unless you hear it from that person. Rodgers stayed quiet. And you cannot sit there and allow, like I say, outside noise really say anything, because But when he went that press conference, he said what was on his mind. And what he
Yep.
did was 100% what he should have done.
I'm
And
okay with
he
it.
actually, and I think that may be the best press conference ever. One of the best.
It was
Because
good.
it actually showed true emotion, and it actually showed, it actually was a truthful press conference. It wasn't no BS or anything. And that's the beautiful thing about it. And yes, I like Rodgers and I like the Packers and everything. And that's my team and everything. And that, but the problem is this: I don't like that drama as a fan, and I'm certain other Packers fans are the same way. But yes, if it all did collapse, but if you look back at the past 20, 30 years, the blueprint that we've had for quarterbacks is there.
Well, of
And
course, I
and,
mean, yes, you were very fortunate.
and the thing is this, and if it all fell apart and they did not get one quarterback, and Jordan Love is the worst quarterback ever, it's time to rebuild. I mean,
I agree, but you're not going to find another Aaron Rodgers. You're lucky.
No.
You're lucky you found him after Brett Favre. So
No.
you really, as a fan, you can't ask for anything more than the last 2 to 3 decades you've had in terms of quarterback play. What I'll say about Aaron Rodgers is that this will be his last year in Green Bay. I completely
Yeah.
believe that. I don't think he'll be done. I think he'll go somewhere. I like Denver as a landing spot for Aaron Rodgers. It seems like he wants to be there. Vic Fangio is going to get fired this year. Drew Lock's going to get released or traded this year. Bring in a new offensive guy as head coach. Bring in Aaron Rodgers. Maybe bring in Devontae Adams. Who knows? I like Denver as a landing spot in 2022 for sure. What I'm say real quick about the Randall Cobb thing before we wrap up. I'm completely in favor of Aaron Rodgers speaking his mind. I don't think Randall Cobb is something he should have pushed for. Randall Cobb is 5 years past his prime, and a guy who gets hurt regularly at this point in his career. So I don't know how that helps the Packers really or Aaron Rodgers. By week 3 or 4, he may not even be on the field. Who knows if it may be a locker room thing? I don't know. It's definitely not on the field thing because he's 5 years past prime Randall Cobb. And if that's what Rodgers wants, that's okay. But I will say, like I've been saying, I'm in favor of what Rodgers did. I'm on Rodgers' side. Be careful what you wish for, Aaron Rodgers, because now that GM is not happy with you.
Mm-hmm.
And so just be careful, because if he wants to trade you, he could trade you somewhere to like the Texans.
Well, that crossed my mind is him for Watson. Some kind of deal there.
It could definitely happen.
And send you to a team that you're just going to sit there. You're just going to be forced to retire.
Yeah. Now, I don't think that's a bad thing for Aaron, because I think he will happily retire. He has, a new fiance. He has new fiance. He has plenty of interest outside of football. He may be the Jeopardy host one day, the full-time host. He has a lot of things to do outside of football, but make no mistake, he will quit if he's traded to the Texans. So I think that's the best leverage he has for the Texans not to pull that trigger, is because they know once they get him, he'll just leave. Obviously, they have some problems on their hands with Watson as well, let's say.
Yeah, and it's going to be one of those things where if he's not 100% happy, he's not going.
Yep. I could see Denver 2022. Watch it.
And to be honest with you, this may be his last year. He may retire.
It's possible.
I think he has just as good a chance to retire as he goes to Denver.
It's
I
likely.
really, I really think so because Denver's not even that great.
I mean, Denver has a lot of pieces. Denver, Melvin Gordon, Cortland Sutton,
Yeah, I mean,
Jerry Judy. These are good. These are good players.
yeah,
Solid offensive line, really good defense. Pass rush is Von Miller, Bradley Chubb. I mean, this is a good pass rush. This is good back end. Denver has some players. They need a quarterback, is what they need, and a coach that's not a defensive guy from the 70s. So those are the two things they need. They'll get both of those in 2022, I think, and I think Denver could be a dark horse next year. So watch out for that.
Oh boy, already coming out with the hot takes
Already.
Man, we're only in the off season for this.
Hey, man.
You're getting bad as me now.
Hey man, we've been going at this for a little while now. Let's say we wrap it up here.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have a good season this year, and I think it's gonna be a fun one, and I think these stories that we talked about today is seeing how they transpire and what happens is going to be something good to watch for.
Mm-hmm. I completely agree. Super excited to be back doing this with you, man. We had to stop for obvious reasons last year. The travel wasn't working. COVID was running rampant on everything. We tried, but we didn't make it work in the end. But we're doing Zoom now. We got our faces out there for people to see us. I'm super excited about the season. Hopefully there are fans in attendance, and it looks like there will be at least in September. Any parting words for the public, Hugh?
No, I think that we covered everything. We will be having a show, coming up, during the season, during the weeks, and we'll come out with a schedule, and and we'll announce that. But until then, we're gonna sit here and watch some preseason. I think was it the Steelers and the Cowboys tomorrow night. So
Steelers and Cowboys Thursday night. Yep.
So we'll be waiting till then.
Yes, sir. Well, I am happy we got to record this before the start of the preseason. Exciting off season, plenty of stories, but I think we're all ready for week 1 of the regular season to start. We'll be watching preseason, but we're ready for that real football to start. Once again, this show is brought to you by Keen Nutrition. Go check that out. We appreciate what you're doing for us, man. You're one of my good buddies. I love making the show with you. And I guess we'll leave it at that for now. We'll be back soon with some regular season action. But until then, this has been the first PSA from the ESA. Thanks for watching.